Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at what you see in others that you may not see in yourself. So, oftentimes we look at other people and we recognize qualities within them that we may not recognize within ourselves, and we may have a blind spot towards ourselves. So this could be a projection, but this could also be something good, like a good quality we see in another person that we don't recognize within ourselves. So let's see what that is for you. We have 3 piles to choose from. Take a look at all 3 piles and see which one stands out to you the most. And the one that stands out to you the most will be your pile for today. So the first pile we have is Unakite with the Chariot. Then we have Blue Cat's Eye with the 4 of Pentacles. And we have Tiger's Eye with the 10 of Wands. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile. So hopefully by now you have picked a pile for yourself. If not, you can pause the video. Once you're done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below, and then I'll see you at your reading. Hi there, my pile number ones. If you chose this Unakite crystal and the Chariot card with her and the Hunter, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at what you see in others that you may not see in yourself. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. Also, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, please find all my details in the description box below to book with me. I also have a giveaway happening at the moment, and the giveaway winner will be announced when we reach 40k subscribers. If you'd like to enter the giveaway to stand the chance to win a free 30-minute reading from me, then all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel and comment under this video. So let's go ahead and shuffle your cards and see what comes up for you. So Spirit Guides of pile 1, may I please tap into their energy, and may I please find out what they kind of see within others that they don't see within themselves. What do they see within others that they don't see within themselves? So we have the Acrobat with the Page of Pentacles. We have the 3 of Wands. We have the 3 of Swords. We have the 8 of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Green Man with the Emperor, with the 7 of Swords at the back of the deck. So I just straightened the cards out so that you can see all of them. So the first thing I'm getting is I'm smelling a very nice perfumey scent. So what I'm thinking is, like, you know, when you get used to your own scent or used to your own perfume, but other people may smell it. This isn't something you necessarily see physically, but I'm getting that you may smell other people and be like, oh, I love their perfume or I love their smell. But other people might do that to you without you realizing, because like you're not smelling yourself, right? Like you get used to your own scent. Something about your scent is coming through. But I'm also getting something about like you recognizing the beauty within other people. Other people also do that to you. And don't realize that about themselves. So also, like how we get used to our own faces and our features, we don't really see the awe and that beauty. With the Ace of Wands, this can talk about physical attractiveness and all of that. And so I think like you may notice the physical attractiveness within others, but may not fully notice it within yourself or see it within yourself. Like even if you're like, yes, I am attractive, but you're not necessarily seeing the awe of that beauty the way other people see it. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm seeing firstly. Another thing I'm seeing of what you may see in others that you may not see within yourself is something that would represent shock or something that would shock you. So wherever you feel a shocked emotion may represent something within you. So I'm getting this energy, for example, let's say I'm shocked at this person because they're so talented and I'm like in awe of them. That could be like me maybe not noticing talents within myself. Me not noticing how in awe other people may be of me, with my talents. So that could be an example, or it could be like, let's say I'm negatively shocked by someone, by how they could just do something, whatever it was. Like, let's say that maybe they're selfish and I'm so negatively shocked by it and impacted by it, and I just can't believe they did that, and it's negatively impacting my mood, but maybe I don't realize I do that sometimes too. That's kind of the energy that's coming through. Anything that brings on a physical emotion of shock. So that could be different for all of you. With the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords at the back of the deck, I'm getting this energy of like not realizing I do something that may be hurtful to other people, but I don't want other people to do it to me. So that's why it's very important to always check ourselves before we like point fingers at another person. Because even I've done this, like where I'm like, okay, I don't like that this person did this, and then I have to look at myself and I'm like, oh, but I've done that before too. So I can't really blame the person or be angry at the person, but it does still hurt. Um, Maybe it doesn't hurt when we do it to them, but it hurts when they do it to us. And so there could be like certain behaviors that you do where if other people were to do it to you, you would like leave immediately and you wouldn't be happy with them. Like you'd cry and you'd feel so sad, but you may do it to others, or you may do it to yourself if it's not to others. And it may not be like something completely huge. It may be something small, but that's just something to recognize within yourself. Like whenever someone makes you sad with their actions or words, take a look at if you do that to other people too, or yourself for that matter. So that's what I see there. And I feel like crying as I say that. So I guess that may bring on like strong emotions. Or anything that brings on strong emotions may be leading you to look at something within yourself, right? So let's say I'm in a situation with someone and the situation is not that big, like it's a minor situation, but it brings out an intense emotional reaction within me, and I can't for the life of me understand why it's bringing out such an intense emotional reaction if it's something so insignificant and small. Something that shouldn't bring out that kind of emotional reaction. Then I have to look into why did this trigger me so much. And oftentimes you'll find that that maybe came from childhood or something, like a pain within us that we didn't recognize and heal from. So that's what I see with the Three of Swords. Like you may also notice pain within other people, but not notice it within yourself, or not see it fully within yourself. Like, for example, some of you may be guilty of this, and I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm seeing it. So Spirit's giving me an example of like, how in the spiritual community, some people are like, oh, that person's not healed. And yes, while that may be true, like, are we fully healed? You know what I mean? So I'm getting that energy of like, when we're spiritual and we're like, oh, that person hasn't fully healed, but we're not looking at ourselves, that could be a situation here too. Um, like judging someone else for something that we may have not done either, or may have done too. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm getting. I'm also getting that you could have noticed the growth within people that you may have not seen within yourself, or the progress within other people that you may have not seen within yourself. So this doesn't have to be internal. It can be physical, it can be internal, it can have to do with like our work, relationships, our healing journey, whatever it is. Like maybe you notice the progress within other people, but you don't see it within yourself, because every day you see yourself doing that task and you don't see how you're changing gradually, but you may notice how other people change gradually. Just like, when you lose weight, you may notice it on another person, but not on yourself as you gradually lose weight or gain weight. And so it's showing through as like the same thing. The gradual changes you make or progress you make, you may not notice within yourself, but other people see it, and you may see it within other people, but not yourself. I'm also getting this energy of like your own flexibility, your own strength, your own adaptability skills. So you are able to adapt and you are able to sort of be strong in certain situations. Basically, the message I'm getting is you're stronger than you think you are. And even if certain changes were to happen in your life that you would have to adjust to, that you think would be hard, you can actually do it. So I'm getting that you're more capable than you think you are. You may notice other people's capabilities and potential, but you may not see it within yourself. And you may notice where other people are headed, like the direction they're headed in based on what they're doing currently, but you may not notice where you're headed, like with your own actions. Does that make sense? So it could be like I'm doing something and I have a lot of potential to be headed to success, for example, but I don't see it, but I see it with another person. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm seeing here. I'm also seeing this energy where I could have left someone for a trait they had that I maybe have within me, but I don't realize. Or this could be something we have already let go of that we may sort of judge other people for, right? So let's say, for example, I'm just going to use an example. This doesn't have to resonate, but let's say, for example, someone used to be very selfish and they realize their selfishness is getting them nowhere in life. And it's going to leave them all alone in their relationships. And they try to not be selfish, and then in the future, they judge selfish people because maybe it reminds them of a past version of self that they themselves judge. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm seeing here. I also see this energy again of like growth and achievements and accomplishments and the new things we can kind of create as a result of where how we've grown, if that makes sense. I'm also seeing this energy of like something that motivates me or inspires me, but I don't realize it inspires me. But I'm looking at the other person like, wow, this is so amazing. But I don't realize it's inspiring me because I already have that within me. So let's say I'm looking at someone's outfit and I'm like, wow, I'm so inspired by their outfit. Like, their choice is amazing. And yes, they made that choice to put together that outfit. But me admiring that and being inspired by that says that I already have something within me that relates to the expression of that outfit, if that makes sense. Um, I hope I'm making sense. I don't know how to exactly explain that with words, but that's what I'm seeing. So let's see what else we get in the cards. We have the Seven of Swords now. So this was at the back of the deck earlier. We have the Ten of Cups. So this might be like the wrongdoings of others that we may not notice within ourselves when we do it. So Seven of Swords, Ten of Cups, especially like our relationships to other people. So like let's say we see, for example, our lover do something and we're like, no, they shouldn't be doing that. That's so wrong. But we don't realize we've done that before too. Like we've made that same mistake too. Maybe we learned from that mistake, maybe we didn't, but we don't realize we've made that mistake too. Something about like judging the choices of others, not realizing that maybe we were a beginner too, or we didn't know better too at one point. Um, Especially like the old version of ourself. Like I'm getting that message quite strongly for some of you. Like I'm judging someone else for a trait they may have, but I used to have that trait too, and maybe I deemed that trait as unlovable, quote unquote unlovable, and I pushed that trait down and I sort of rejected that trait within myself, but then I don't realize that I'm judging it within another person because maybe I deem that as unlovable. Does that make sense? Um, I'm also getting this energy that maybe it wasn't our fault for some of us. Like maybe, for example, let's say our parent told us this trait we had was bad or made us feel like this trait we had was bad, and then we have to push down this trait and we almost find this trait unlovable because of maybe how we were treated. So let's say, for example, I'm crying as a kid, and now every time I cry, my parent scolds me or shouts at me more, gets more angry at me. So then I internalize that and I realize, oh, if I cry, it's going to make people around me angry. And I hide that from myself, where I almost become very cold and unemotional, and I stop showing my feelings to people because I've deemed that trait as unlovable by internalizing what was done to me with that trait. Does that make sense? So that could also be the case here. Like where I don't like other emotional people because I was maybe shamed for being emotional, right? So I'm seeing that too. And that's just an example. Take it how it resonates for you. I'm also seeing this energy of like things you love within other people that you may not realize is within you. So that could be a trait, that could be a physical feature of theirs, that could be literally anything, but like literally anything I love about another person could be within me too. So I'm also seeing this energy of like seeing other people's independence and growth again, but not seeing it within yourself. Seeing the love you have for another person, but maybe not seeing the love they have for you that is reciprocated in some way. And also, like, I'm getting this energy of like, I'm looking at another person and I'm admiring them and I'm finding them so cute, but I don't realize they look at me the same way, or, you know, maybe they look at me with the same admiration or admire things within me that I don't see within myself. Does that make sense? That's what I see. I'm sorry for repeating, does that make sense? But like, I find this so hard to explain whatever I'm seeing here. But that's all I have for you, pile number 1. Yeah, that's all I have. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please let me know how this reading resonated down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi, my Palomar 2s. If you chose this blue cat's eye crystal and the Four of Pentacles, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at what you see in others that you may not see in yourself. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, then please find all my details in the description box below. Also, I do have a giveaway happening at the moment. So if you'd like to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel and comment on this video to stand the chance to win a free 30-minute reading from me. And the giveaway winner will be announced when we reach 40k subscribers. So when I had originally pulled this card during the intro part of the reading, I kind of was just looking at the treasure here and like how the blue crystal is bringing out the blue here on the treasure, and I was kind of just like admiring it, looking at it like, wow. So maybe you kind of sometimes look at people with admiration, where you admire certain things you see within them, things you would deem as like a little treasure to find about them. I'm getting like maybe pieces of information about them you figure out and you see that as like a treasure, where you really treasure that part of that person, if that makes sense. And I get that you kind of like, when you look at another person with that mesmerized admiration kind of feeling, like maybe you don't realize that other people may look at you sometimes that way, or you may have little things about you like that too that could be admired by yourself even. So let's see what comes up in the cards. So it is 333 on the clock. That could be a significant angel number. So what do my pile number 2 see in others that they may not see in themselves? We have the 10 of Swords. I also felt this energy within my throat chakra, as if my throat was closing up or constricting. So I want to say, when that happens during a reading, trigger warning, it only happens to those that have maybe been in situations that were maybe a little bit more traumatic, or situations that were very harsh and extreme and repetitive, where we felt like we couldn't voice like what we wanted to voice. We couldn't speak up for ourselves or use our voice in some way, or when we're silenced. That's usually when I feel that in a reading, like that feeling of constriction in my throat, like my throat's actually closing up and I can't breathe. That's how intense it was. For you, it wasn't that intense or bad, but it was kind of a strong feeling I was getting. And so when that happens during a reading, sometimes it could also point towards someone that has maybe been through like abuse or something like that. So if you have been through that, I'm really, really sorry. But I do see that you are healing right now with the star here. And maybe there's something about like you noticing when other people are in situations where they feel like they can't speak up for themselves, because maybe you've experienced that too. And so, like, when someone's in a situation, even if it's not harsh, and they need to speak up for themselves and they're not doing so, and you can tell that they want to, it's like you're able to tell in those situations. And maybe you're someone that stands up for people if they can't stand up for themselves. I don't know, but or maybe you try to help them, or maybe you just notice it and you kind of wish them love and wish them healing. I don't know, but I'm getting that energy of like noticing when another person is going through that, where they feel like they can't stand up for themselves or voice their opinions or speak their truth, or even people that are more quiet and pushed to the side, like in conversations, like maybe you try to allow them time to speak as well. So I'm seeing that type of energy where you want to make everybody feel included, and like maybe you're doing that if you relate to that, because you felt excluded at one point. And with the star, it's kind of like we're healing ourselves by doing something for the other person that we wished would have been done for us. So that's what I'm seeing here. So then we have the Strength card with Papa Legba. So I'm just going to check that these are in frame for a second. So the Hermit with the Storyteller reverse, the Eight of Swords, the Ravens with the Magician, and like I said, Strength. I'm just repeating that because I don't know if I mentioned the card names. Anyways, what you may see in others that you may not see in yourself. I see this energy of you seeing things intuitively about others. And it's almost like when you see certain things about others intuitively, it's it's because you've seen certain things within life or within yourself before, and you may have forgotten, and then you're able to recognize it within another person intuitively. And so I'm not going to say all the things you recognize within people intuitively are things that are within you, because I think sometimes sometimes you can pick up on things intuitively that are not your own, that you've never experienced. But I think sometimes you will pick up on um, certain things about people that you may recognize within yourself but have forgotten, that maybe you experienced that, or maybe you have that trait but you forgot about that trait. Does that make sense? That's how I'm seeing this Eight of Swords card, since she kind of looks very psychic here. I'm also getting that maybe you are kind of telepathic, or you can read people's minds, or like you can tell what another person's thinking. Just like you can see your own thoughts or hear your own thoughts in your mind, you can kind of like pick up on other people's thoughts. And sometimes they get entangled with your own and you mistake it as your own. So I don't really know if that counts as something, to add to the topic, but that's something I see. I also see this energy of like seeing other people. This must be my intuitive pile, because I keep seeing things about like you channeling things for people. And as I say this, I feel my third eye expanding a lot. So for context, I'm clairsentient. My regular viewers will know this. So I feel energies. I feel what's going on. So you're very intuitive, my pal twos, and sometimes you'll pick up on when other people, when their manifestations are near, it's like you'll pick up on it, right? For them. But maybe you don't realize that you're picking it up for yourself as well. But then maybe like you doubt it in the moment after, right? Maybe you almost mistake it as a thought in your mind, and you're like, okay, no, I don't want to get my hopes up. And then you start worrying and you start thinking, like, was this just a thought or was this intuition? And it's like hard for you to differentiate between that. So I'm seeing something like that showing up quite strongly. Maybe it's hard to recognize when it's your intuitive voice versus when it's your mind, and maybe sometimes the two get intermingled or mixed together where it's hard to figure out what's what. But I think the more you use your intuition and practice, Spirit is telling me intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it and practice, the stronger it gets. So I think the more you use it, the more you'll be able to differentiate between an actual thought in your mind and between an intuitive download or something like that. So as I look at these ravens, I'm being taken back to the series Wednesday, and it's been a while since I watched that. And I remember this one scene where I think it was her mother, if I'm not mistaken, said to her, you're a raven, or you have the raven spiritual gift. And then I think she had the dove or something like that. I could be wrong about the exact details, but basically she was like, you're like the raven or something. You see um basically like darker psychic visions that show you darker subjects, if that makes sense. And she said that if it is not used properly, it could kind of make a person, um, let me just say, go mentally unstable in some way. So I feel like your psychic gifts are so strong, and you're able to maybe tap into darker subject matters, um, where maybe you're able to tell what's going on behind the scenes. Like, for example, when someone's lying, when someone is manipulative, when someone maybe doesn't have the best intentions, and maybe you're able to protect certain people from what would have happened by picking up on that immediately. And it's not because you have darkness within, but I think it's because you've seen darkness within your life, like maybe through your traumas and things like that, and through other people, that you're able to recognize that darkness within others. Because when I tap into your energy, it doesn't feel dark at all. So I feel like you're able to recognize the darkness within people, if that makes sense. And I think your intuition is so strong that sometimes you may almost feel like you don't know what's real or what's reality or what's a psychic thing, and it may almost make you feel like you're going crazy or something like that. And so yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up from you. But I think the more you work on this 1111, the more you work on this, the more you're able to ground. I think grounding is also very important. Besides the topic, like grounding is very important when we're using our spiritual abilities and gifts, and it's important to ground so that we're able to balance out the two. Because the thing is, if our third eye is too open and we're not grounded, it can, feel very scary. So that's something I would recommend. Anyways, back to the topic. I feel like with the strength card here, you are able to see other people's strength. Like, let's say someone goes through something and you're able to see their strength, you're able to see them get through the situation, even if it looks like a very harsh situation. And maybe you try to give them like words of encouragement or motivation that, even though they feel stuck in the moment, they can get through this. But maybe you don't recognize when you feel stuck or when you feel like you can't get through something really hard within your life. Like maybe you don't recognize your own internal strength, or the fact that you will get through it even if you feel stuck in the moment. So that's what I'm seeing too. You're also able to notice maybe when other people are closed off, because maybe you once have been closed off, either on purpose or not on purpose, or protective mechanism or whatever. But I'm seeing that too. I'm also seeing this energy of like noticing when someone's trapped in a situation and they need help, because maybe you were trapped in certain situations and you needed help. Because I'm looking at this tiger here and he also looks stuck. So again, there's this message of stuckness with the Eight of Swords, and this like a double message of that, where wherever you feel stuck in life, you will still get out of it with the Star and heal from it and move forward from it. But I think in the moment, maybe you don't see a way out, and they don't see a way out either. Um, so that's something you're able to recognize within others, but maybe not yourself when you're in those situations. Also, when people are telling stories with the storyteller in reverse, there is this message of like when someone's telling a story and things just don't add up, you're able to see the holes within the story. You're able to see the inconsistencies within that. You're able to see the lies that they tell, even if it's not obvious. You know, even if they're not showing any indication of a lie through body language or anything like that, something about your intuition just tells you they're lying or they're telling the truth with the story they're telling, or they're adding things to the story that are not true. So that's what I'm getting with that card. Use your intuition because it's strong. I'm also seeing this energy of like some of you getting goosebumps when someone tells the truth. So, what Spirit is telling me with that energy is either you have been lied to many times and you've been able to pick up on it, or you yourself have lied a couple times, you know, in your life, which nobody's perfect. And maybe you're able to recognize when another person does, especially if you've lied a lot, like in the past. I'm also looking at the purple here and it's reminding me of intuition, and I'm getting another cute message that you will recognize or notice when someone else is looking at another person with love, but you won't notice when someone is looking at you with love in their eyes. So, like, let's say someone, like your friend is dating somebody, and you can see in the boyfriend or girlfriend's eyes that they just are so in love with your friend. And now, like when someone's looking at you that way, you're not able to tell or notice that. So the Watcher came out with the Queen of Cups showing up reversed. We have the Celtic Owl with the Hanged Man. We have the Sojourner with the King of Cups. We have the Ace of Cups showing up reversed. We have the Eight of Pentacles upright. And we have the Three of Pentacles. So I'm seeing this energy where maybe you're able to notice or see when another person has closed off their heart due to pain or due to, situations where they felt like they needed to close off their heart to stay safe in some way. I think you're able to see that within another person when they've been burned by love, because maybe you've been burned by love before and you've had to close off your heart with the Ace of Cups reversed opposite the Eight of Swords. I'm also getting this energy that eventually you did open your heart back up again, but it came after a long period of, self-isolation, and being alone to the point where it felt like you were very lonely. And then I feel like it took a while for you to maybe put yourself back out there again after healing. So maybe you're also able to see when other people are kind of in that phase of being closed off, healing, not being open to new forms of love yet, while they still heal their hearts. And that's the natural process of healing. Like, you can't open up your heart to someone new if you're still healing your heart from something from the past. Well, yes, you can, but it can get complicated. For some people, it can be healing, like relationships. I'm not saying you can't, but it is maybe like easier to first heal and then get into a new relationship. So I feel like you see when other people are going through that phase and do need that time. And sometimes you'll even see it within dating and love. Like you can see when a person's not ready. And sometimes you will ignore that gut feeling because you want love. And this is for my singles that are kind of like putting themselves out there and dating and love. And I think that it's almost like you ignore that gut instinct, and then later on you see that, okay, they weren't ready for me because they kind of just string me along, or, ghosted, or never actually gave me commitment to whatever. So I'm seeing an energy like that. I'm also seeing an energy here where you're able to see the wisdom within others. Like when other people are sharing their voice, or sharing what's going on, or sharing advice in general, it's like you're able to see the wisdom within them, and maybe you don't fully see it within yourself. I'm also getting this energy of like you being able to see when other people have done the work on themselves, um, because maybe you have too, but maybe you're not like recognizing or giving yourself a pat on the back for like the inner work you've done on yourself too, but also like hard work you've done in real life too, like when it comes to your career or studies. Like maybe you notice it within other people, but you don't notice it within yourself. Like um what's coming through here is like self-comparison, like, oh, this other person's achieving this and they're doing this and I don't feel like I'm doing enough, but you are doing enough. That's the energy that's coming through with this Eight of Pentacles that I feel. So with the Three of Pentacles next to this, you're maybe also able to see um certain things within your co-workers that you may not see within yourself. I'm not sure what that would be. All within something about the area of expertise, I'm hearing. Like maybe you're able to see when other people are an expert at something, or they're just very knowledgeable in some kind of area of life, and maybe you don't see it within yourself. Maybe you're not knowledgeable in the exact same area, but it could be within something else. Like you're almost looking at them like, wow, they're so smart at this. They know a whole lot about this subject or topic. Um, but I don't know anything about that, but maybe you know something about another topic. That's what's coming through. I'm also getting that you see other people's fire and passion and what drives them and what motivates them to succeed in life, but maybe you don't see your own, right? I'm also seeing this energy here, your last message. You see when other people are not giving themselves credit, but you may not see when you're not giving yourself credit. And you may see when someone is detached emotionally, and when someone is observing other people, maybe because you're observant yourself. But you may also be able to see when someone is watching but pretending not to watch. So that's what I'm getting from the Watcher reverse, like someone staring with and pretending they're not staring, but they actually are staring. Maybe because you yourself have done that. And with the detached thing, maybe you yourself have been detached at one point emotionally. And I think that was part of the natural healing process. So you dealt with a lot of maybe like detached, emotionally unavailable people. I'm also seeing this energy where maybe you dealt with a lot of unempathetic people, people that didn't help you when you needed help. And so you trying to be as empathetic as possible. You try to help people as much as possible, where you can, at least. And I think you recognize when people are being selfish and when they're being like unempathetic, and just not really caring about another person's well-being or feelings, or so it's not because that's within you, but it's because you've seen it before within people. So that's also something I see here. So that is all I have for you, pile 2. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please let me know down in the comments below how this resonated for you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hi there, Polymathries. If you chose this Tiger's Eye Crystal and the Ten of Wands, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at what you see in others that you may not see in yourself. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, then please find my email address in the description box below. Also, I do have a giveaway happening at the moment. If you'd like to enter the giveaway to stand the chance to win a free 30-minute reading from me, then all you need to do is be subscribed to this channel and comment under this video, and the giveaway winner will be announced when we reach 40k subscribers. So let's go ahead and shuffle your cards. So firstly, some of you could notice when other people are very hard on themselves. And you tell them not to be so hard on themselves, but maybe you're hard on yourself too at times, and you don't always like remind yourself. I also see this energy of seeing other people's hard work and being proud of them, and needing to also be proud of yourself for your hard work, or like the accomplishments you've had where it's taken you like a lot of time and energy to get there. It's taken a lot of dedication on your part, a lot of not giving up, even when things are hard, to get to where you got. So I guess like when you recognize that within others, you may not fully see that within yourself or give yourself a pat on the back. I get that you also don't see your own resilience and strength the way you do for other people. You may see other people needing freedom of some kind, and you may need it too. And you may also see when other people can free themselves of the challenges within their own life by just making this one decision, but you may not see the road ahead for yourself. Like you may not know how to navigate that for yourself. But I'm getting that if a lot of you just took your own advice, you would get out of a lot of stuck situations where you just don't know what to do and you feel confused on the situation. Like, do I go in this direction or this direction? And where would it lead to? If you just take your own advice that you give other people, you would be further ahead and you would be a lot more strong than you actually are right now. Not that you're not strong, but I think you would be even stronger than you are right now. 10 of Cups, the Suzerainer with the King of Cups, the Weaver with the Queen of Swords, and the 9 of Cups. So let me just check that this is in frame for you. You know when you see for another person that it's the right time for them to do something and they don't yet believe in themselves or feel ready yet, but you can see that they're ready, even if they don't feel ready for that thing yet. There's something about you maybe not seeing when you're ready for something or when it's the right time to pursue something, but you're kind of holding yourself back like, should I not? Am I ready? How do I know if I'm ready? And that's the energy I see. I also see this energy of like you noticing when other people need to put less on their plates and take a rest, but maybe not noticing when you yourself should take a rest. Because I think that a lot of you in this pile are overachievers, and or you just like put a lot of pressure on yourself in some way. And I think a lot of times it leads to you putting more on your plate than you can handle. Of course you can handle it, but it doesn't need to be that stressful. You know, life doesn't need to be so stressful and hard. And a lot of times we put a lot of pressure and expectations on ourselves, but things would flow much easier if we didn't put that much pressure on ourselves. Just like maybe we notice that in others, but we don't see that in ourselves. Maybe we see how far others have come, but we don't see how far we've come. And it could lead to self-comparison, but not realizing we've also come very far in our own journey. I see this energy of you noticing when other people are grounded and happy and thriving, but but maybe not fully seeing when you're thriving. I also see that you could see when people are stronger than they think they are. And like I said, you may not see that yourself in yourself. You may see talents, gifts within people that they may not accept or recognize within themselves or know they even have yet, that talent or gift. But you may not notice those gifts or talents you have. Maybe other people notice it. You see the wishes of other people. You see what they want. And I get that you're the type of person that tries to give people what they want. Maybe you don't see what you want yourself. I get that you are kind of overly focused on other people. You're overly focused on other people's problems, what other people want from you, what other people want in general. But you're not focused enough on like solving your own problems. Looking at yourself, what you want, where you want to be. It's like we're always thinking about what other people want in the relationship, but maybe not thinking about what we want in this relationship or from this person. So something about that's coming through too. You also can see the optimism in a bad situation with the Tower here, next to the Nine of Cups, but you can see optimism within that they will still get what they want out of life, even if the situation is bad right now. But you may not be able to see that for yourself in those Tower situations. When everything feels like it's falling apart and you just start worrying and you don't know how to control the situation, and you don't know if it's ever going to get better. Sometimes in those situations, you don't see the hope or optimism, but it is there. You may also pick up on things about other people's pain, like their traumas, things like that. And you may almost like be extra considerate around their traumas and pain, but you may not be extra considerate with yourself around your own traumas and pain. You can see when other people are making a bad decision that's going to lead them to fall off a cliff, metaphorically, but you don't see when you yourself are making a bad decision. No judgment there. Like maybe we've all made bad decisions. I also see this energy of like you being able to see the solution for people, but maybe not being able to see it for yourself. I see that you're able to see how people perceive love. I get that you're always like learning from other people in terms of like how they perceive love by the way they show love, but not looking at your own perception of love. I also get that you are always trying to learn from other people, but you also have your own inner wisdom on that subject or topic. Even if you're not educated on that subject or topic, you may have things to add to the conversation. And so there's this energy of like, I'm always looking what other people's opinions are, what other people think about the situation, but I'm not looking at what I think about the situation, what my opinions are, what my perspective is. Because my perspective might be different from theirs, but it's still my perspective. And everybody's truth is different. Everybody's perspective is different. It is meant to be that way. So I see that. I see this energy of noticing where other people need to clear things for themselves, either emotionally or physically, but not noticing it for yourself. I see you admiring a lot of people's style. Maybe you're very into fashion. Um, but you don't see how admirable your style is. There's also this energy of mischief, making jokes. Um, Maybe you see that trait within others, but not within yourself. Also, like when you notice others are fun to be around, or they're having a lot of fun, but maybe you don't see yourself having fun or being a fun person to be around. You see when others are imbalanced within a situation, but you don't see when you are. Again, you see the hope within situations other people don't see, but you may not see it for yourself within your own situations. You see other people's wins and celebrations, but you don't see your own fully or at all. 9 of Wands, the 5 of Swords. There's this energy of I'm seeing when other people are the problem in their own life, but they just don't realize it. But maybe I am also the problem in my own life by creating certain situations that are maybe more challenging, but I created it myself. I caused it myself. So there may be this energy of like, I'm not trying to call you out. You know, I think a lot of people do this. But there's this energy of like pointing out what other people do, but not looking at ourselves, like where we maybe create our own problems. Does that make sense? So if I'm looking at another person, I'm like, oh, they're always creating drama for themselves, but I don't realize I'm also doing the same thing. That can be a little bit problematic. You also see when other people are self-sabotaging their progress. But you may not notice it when you do that yourself. The Ace of Pentacles here too tells me that you see when other people have opportunities in front of them that they cannot recognize or see themselves, but you see it, but you may not see those opportunities for you. It's like they're kind of hidden in plain sight. You may see when other people are rebuilding, and you may almost have like more empathy towards them and more, you may give them more grace because they're still in a process of rebuilding and starting and beginning. But like when you're starting something new or beginning or rebuilding, you maybe don't give yourself that same grace. The Muse with the Queen of Wands. We have the Mime in the reverse with the Page of Wands. We have the Storyteller in the reverse with the Hermit. So you notice when and you see when someone is being authentic, when they're being their true self. But you may also see when people are pretending with the mime. So when they're putting on a show, when they're putting on an act, or when they're faking something, or just pretending or putting on a mask, you can see it. But you may not see when you yourself pretend in certain situations or put on a mask in certain situations. You may see other people as like muses, people that are so inspiring, but you may not see yourself as so inspiring too. We have the Death card. We have the Watcher with the Queen of Cups reversed. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. And the last card at the back of the deck is the 3 of Pentacles. You may notice compatibility within other people's relationships, but not within your own, or incompatibilities within other people's relationships, but not within your own. You may notice passive and see passive aggressiveness within others, but you may not see it when you yourself let it out accidentally. You may notice when people are not being true with their words, or something like that, or genuine. But you may not see when you yourself are pretending to be one way. Like let's say, for example, you're pretending to like a person when you deep down don't like them, but you have to tolerate them because maybe you work with them. That could be a situation. You know, we have to tolerate people we work with even if we don't like them. So I'm seeing that. I'm seeing this energy of seeing other people's transformations and changes, but not seeing our own. Seeing other people's success, but not seeing our own. Seeing how other people have healed, but not seeing how we've healed. You may see when other people are being generous or charitable in some way, or helpful in some way, but you may not notice like all the good deeds you've done. And you may notice when other people are detached emotionally, or when they're healthy in their emotional expression, but you may not notice when you yourself detach emotionally, or when you yourself show healthy forms of, self-expression within the emotions. You may also notice when and see when other people are like kind of stable emotionally, but you may not see that yourself. You may also notice the love two people have for each other and see it, but you may not see the love other people have for you. You may see other people's confidence, bravery, but you may not see your own. And you may see other people, like you may see when other people have lost their spark, but are struggling to get it back, or are struggling to feel motivated or inspired by life, and they have to kind of fake it till they make it. You may see it, but you may not see um when you kind of have to fake it till you make it. Like, let's say you're feeling unmotivated in a situation, like, yes, you may see that. And sometimes, like, let's say you've lost your spark one time in your life. Like, maybe you didn't see it immediately, but maybe eventually you did see it. But maybe you didn't see that you could also fake it till you make it. I don't know why I'm getting that energy, but I am. I keep getting that you may notice other people's talents, but not your own. That other people are kind of like a mirror to you. What you see in them could be what you see in yourself. So sometimes your perception of other people could be sometimes like projections. Yeah, that's what I see. So that is all I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope this reading resonated with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.